What's going on, guys? So today I wanted to do a video update on our easy dumper we bought over the winter. Has not been a year yet. We got this sometime in January, but I wanted to kind of just go over like just the whole deal, you know, the pros, really just pros, you know, not many cons, but I'll get to all that. So first off, absolutely awesome. If you guys have been watching our videos, you'll see that this is our grass truck. And then obviously for cleanups, when cleanups go out, but this is 5-6 days a week, mowing, maintenance, all that kind of stuff. So this easy dumper, I have a video out there on purchasing it and everything like that. If you want to find that and go over like the first-hand look, you can do that. This video won't have specifics on it, but if you have questions, I have specs, so just comment below and ask me and I'll help you out. But okay, long story short, like I said, the dump truck is now landscape, hardscape, 5-6 days a week during the season. And then this truck is running grass. This is my old personal truck. It's 2018 Ram 2500 with about 30,000 miles on it. So this thing still has a lot of life in it. This dump insert right here was $4,000. Purchase, install, everything, start to finish. With that, so they usually do not come with these protectors. That's like add-on stuff. Like you could just get the dump and not the protector. So included in that $4,000 was the steel cab protector, which is this right here. Kind of see, I'm kind of in the sun. And I believe also I paid separately was the tarp kit. I think that was like around 200 bucks, super cheap, but we got the tarp kit for up there. Like obviously you need that when it comes to leaves, grass, things like that. And the wood walls we put on ourselves. So this, I guess the slats, I guess, whatever you want to call it, are pretty long here. You could go high. I mean, I could get wood half this size and fill that in up here and go even higher. You could do all kinds of stuff. Listen, I didn't do it because you got to think like strategically with this. Like, what are you doing with the grass and the leaves? So obviously, what are you gonna have? Someone stand right here on the side and lift a can all the way up here? Like, yeah, we do that with the ladder with that truck, but this is grass, and grass has to be mow and go. So yes, the trailer's here in the back, but there's all these corners, and you can shove a can up here over the side if it's not super heavy. Like, that's super easy. It's not a problem at all. So that's why I stayed at that height. And listen, guys, I don't overload my equipment. Obviously, there's times we have no choice, or if supplies get wet and then it's heavier, it is what it is. But with this truck, like, I'm not hammering in 5 yards of mulch. I believe over the summer I had like 3 in here, and it wasn't even full, but it's not the point. Like this is just for basic maintenance for the mowing, leaves, trimmings. This is not running, you know, crazy weight. It's still a pickup truck too with a dump insert. So you got to remember that when it comes to your trailer weight ratio and the weight of the truck. But as I've said in other videos, I will never buy a dump truck again for mowing, leaf cleanups, because you can just make these things out of these. You can make these pickups dump trucks nowadays. And guys, I tell you what, I've said this in other videos, you can do what everyone else does, which is what the majority of people do, or figure out a way to do it yourself, and then those people start wondering and asking questions, and I promise you it works. So a few things here. One thing I can say is when we ran this, when we first got it, again, it's 2018 and I never changed the battery yet. When we first dumped, it was like maybe a yard of wet leaves or wet grass. It was wet grass in the spring. It was a little heavy, but it was maybe a yard, if that. The battery was the truck started dying right after. The battery wasn't charging. So it was obviously the original battery to a 2018, and the year now is 2025. But anyway, when that happened, I went to AutoZone, and I know you can pick what battery you want, you know, price-wise. I just went with the most heavy-duty battery I could get for this truck, and it's been awesome ever since. This thing gets dumped at least 3 to 4 times a week, especially during the crazy growing season. And this thing will get packed out with grass. Like, it'll come over the walls. We go to the dump every morning, so stuff's not sitting and getting wet and getting all that junk all over you. But so that's that. Like I said, we put the walls on, insert with the back rack and the tarp. The sides are pretty easy to make. One of my buddies sent me videos of how he did it, but you can do a few different things here. Since this wood isn't heavy, I just have a stake here and a stake up front. You could put one in the middle. Obviously, you could put them inside. You could move this out. You could move this piece out if you want and stake here. Listen, I just went with what looks the cleanest, to be honest. So a few other things I'll go over here. And there's a little bit of stuff in here, so I'm not gonna dump it with it open, but pretty much these pins, what'll happen is turn up, come out, and turn back in. And there's little slots right in here where those pins go to. Same over here. Show you real quick. Turn up, turn out, and then turn in, and this gate will come down. And you can adjust these chains just like any other dump truck, which is pretty basic. And that's it, guys. I'll go over dumping it without this down, obviously, because I got all this stuff in here. But pretty much that's that. And then those go right back in once you wiggle it, again, just like any other dump truck. In there, and then they stay in. And you can adjust these chains, like I said, on both sides to kind of adjust the dump. But we'll raise it real quick. We'll go over all that. So the cord here to be raised is ran underneath or inside the truck and then right out the back. And they did a very clean job of doing this. Basic controller like you have in all of your dump trucks and all your dump trailers. And then under here you have the boom, you got your safety prop if you're doing stuff under here. And then you have the motor over here, which no issues at all, everything's fine. So that's that there. Trying to think of a few things here. Obviously there's a few, I think 1 or 2 grease points, which I'm gonna hit real quick right now when this video is over. There's one here, and I think one under the boom. Yep, one under the boom there. You always want to make sure that stuff's greased up, especially if you're running stuff, you know, commercially. But that's that right there, guys. I really can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I can tell you, if you're busy and you're working and you can't afford a dump truck and you have a decent truck, get yourself a dump insert. It'll be a complete game changer. You know, if you don't have other vehicles or other crews or other trucks to haul, you can load this out with stone, you can load it with mulch, you can load it with all that stuff. I'm not saying you can't, we just don't do it. Because like I said, our other trucks and other trailers do other things, specific things. So, I think that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. If there's any questions, comments, anything, if you need specs, let me know. Again, this doesn't have all the numbers and ratios and weights. But easy dumper, again, this is easy dumper, 10 out of 10, whatever. Like no cons, nothing like that. Just it'll change your life too. Again, I know everywhere is different, but for $4 grand and not having to rake grass out, which we've never have, but I'm just saying it's a game changer, guys. So thanks for watching. Like I said, please let me know if you have any questions or comments below and I'll help you out.